Take me home to the blue. I belong West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home that country road. I don't know the rest of the song, so I'll stop now. Well, welcome back, my friends, all to another rousing rendition. I know you're roused. It's Thursday afternoon of Choir Boys Outdoors. What we're going to talk a little bit about with this scab rendition is tip testing a scam, misinformation, and way off topic, but going to use it to lead into those things, beater knives, car knives, work knives, inexpensive tools that you may have that are in your car that you love carrying. I'm going to open it up with this. This is the Ontario knife SP10, the Marine Raider Bowie. This one, I believe, is in 1075. I got a hold of it after they stopped the 1095. It has been a beast for me. I've got to tell you, I've seen a lot of guys say these tips break, and I'm going to talk about the tip testing thing. And I was going to test this, and then Ontario decided to take a shit and do whatever they did. So I don't know that they're making them anymore. And since I bought it, and since I really do love that knife, I thought, I'm not breaking a damn knife I like just to see if it breaks. Love everybody. God bless everybody. I'm not here for that. But that, I want to use that to lead into something. But I want to talk about beater knives first. The next knife I want to talk about, now we're going to drive, and I know how people flip out, is the Glock 81 field knife. Now, remember what I said, beater knife. This knife I have beat the dog shit out of. I don't know what the handle material is. That's one thing that we just don't do. If I don't know, I don't tell you. I'm not an expert. I don't pretend to be. I believe the steel is 1095. I like the sheath. I like the whole thing. And everybody in the comments, oh, it's also a bayonet. Big damn deal. I don't need a bayonet. It is a beater knife. Okay, thank you for the info, and that's going to lead into another thing. But the truth is, why carry these? Why do I have these? Here's the deal, man. There are just times that I want to go do something with a knife. I want to beat the hell out of the knife. I want to play with a knife. I want to see how a certain test may go or a demonstration may go. And I don't want to use a decent knife, or I don't want to use a cheap knife, because a cheap knife tells me less than breaking an expensive knife. Because if it's cheap, and I'm not saying budget, I'm saying cheap, like crap, like bullshit, it's going to break anyway. So I've got those two knives. I also use my work tough gear. Yes, God bless you. May Jesus save you. Unless you're not into that, then may the universe give you a handy or whatever. I also use my work tough gear Who's on Wilderness Bowie 9-inch and my work tough gear Kodiak as beater knives. Why? Because they can take it. And sometimes I like using something a little bit higher end. But I have beater knives to play with. That's just honest. I'm a big kid at heart. I'm a destructive force at heart, right? Today, and I'll give you all a prime example. Today, that Glock 81, I threw it all over the shop, stuck it sometimes, hit the metal beams with it sometimes, batoned it through 2 or 3 4x4s, just beat the shit out of it, used different grips, like I took a 1x4 pine, very soft pine, but I used different grips with that Glock, cutting different ways, held the knife, I think at one point like this, blade down, and just kind of shaved. This one has the root saw, so planing wasn't the best idea. But I took it and I held it in a lot of different handle or hand configurations, stabbed with it, just did a lot of shit with it. Why? Because it is a well-made knife. Whether you like it or you don't, it's a well-made knife. And I thought, this is what I need. This is kind of what I want to use for my quote-unquote testing. Now, having said that, I want to get into tip testing, and if I think it's a scam. I hate tip testing. I despise it. I just started doing it, and I hate it even more, and I'm going to tell you why. I think as a knife reviewer, and here's my caveat, kids, everything I talk about riding with scab, unless I'm shouting at somebody, is about Choir Boys Outdoors, Scott Ball and Scabo, whatever you call me, asshole. It's about me and no one else, okay? That can't be, I don't care what anybody else does. That has no bearing on my channel. Nothing Joe at JS Bladecraft, who I love like a brother, or Donnie from Donnie B All Day, or Emler, or anybody else does affects this channel. So I don't care what they do. I'm talking about what I do. So then somebody'd say, well, Scab, do you scam people? Dude, I try my best not to, and I know a lot of people in this community do too. I'm not. See, that's why I put that caveat. I don't want any. Well, I don't either. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me. But when I do tip testing, in the back of my mind, I know in my heart of hearts, tip testing is as much about touch and feel of the knife reviewer as it is the damn knife. Now, there's a lot of factors that go in. The thickness of the tip, the metal, the steel, the heat treat, the edge geometry. There's just so many factors there, in my opinion, that go into that. This channel's not about knowing all those factors or that. I didn't start the channel for that. If I was a knife maker or if I was a knife designer, I would totally reformulate the way we do this channel. I would start studying about the properties of steel and how it reacts and certain blade geometry. I'm not. I'm just a YouTuber. I'm a knife guy. I love knives. I love knives of all shapes, sizes, colors. Love it all. All of it. But at the end of the day, no matter if I like it or I don't, people listen to what I say. So me coming on here and trying to cop out, well, I'm just here to have fun, that at a point doesn't get it anymore, does it? So then I have to look at the way that I review knives. And I want y'all to listen to me. I would not for the world try to lead you astray. Not because I'm a good guy. That ain't it. It's because I have a monster ego, and the last thing I want, and this is just being honest with you, man. Everybody wants honesty, here you go. I don't want somebody coming on here and go, that guy don't know what the hell, he's an idiot. I get that anyway, I'm not worried about it. But I don't want them to go, well, this tip snapped on me in 3 seconds on this $400 knife, and he made it work. Guys, y'all do understand that just because a certain knife performs a certain way for a certain YouTuber or anybody, I've seen guys get pissed off and make a video. Oh, I was opening this box and the blade fell off. I know, buddy. I know. Dad, I was just trying to do these zip ties at work, and this hinder you got for me, it just chipped the blade all up. Didn't hit a concrete? No, Dad, no. Sure didn't, Dad. Nope. Just, was cutting the shrink wrap, Dad. Huh. Must be a bad heat treat, son. That may or may not be a real conversation. But my point to you is, guys, I can take just about any knife. Not every knife. That would be disingenuous. Let me give you a prime example. This is the Colonial Knives hunting knife. Now, I can't tell you why I love this knife. It strikes a chord with me on a different level. It is a vibe knife. It is not a bomb-proof knife. It is not a survival knife. It is not a zombie apocalypse knife. It's just, in my opinion, a beautiful piece of cutting cutlery. But I want you to listen to me. And it's well done. It's sharp as shit. I had my guy at work, Kevin, put some Purple Heart handle scales on there. I did a short right before I did this video. I'll try to link it with the sun hitting this. It's gorgeous. I love everything about this knife. If I tried to tip test this knife, and again, I believe it's done very well, I just don't think it would hold up. I wouldn't use it, Scab. Well, people use these things for about 100 years, honey, and they were fine. I'm not here to convince you. What I am here to try to explain to you is this. There are certain knives that aren't going to hold up to certain tests, and then there are certain knives that I could shoot for an hour doing a damn tip test. Some bitch would never break, crack. Now, you couldn't slice a tomato with that some bitch, but if you ever needed to break out of prison, that's the knife for you. And that's kind of what I'm saying, guys, here with this whole big soliloquy. To me, the tip test is one of the most manipulated tests, and not even on purpose, but I think sometimes subconsciously. Are there people that will manipulate? Sure there are. This is the internet. And again, I'm not here to tell you that I'm above the fray. I'm not. Y'all know how I feel about myself. But I know yesterday, I was doing a tip test with the Work Tough Gear cap part. Well, I have tremendous faith in Work Tough Gear, but I also have tremendous faith in how the tip was designed and made and the heat treat. And I've done probably 300 videos, literally, of Work Tough Gear. Wasn't worried about it at all. The thought hit me, and this is what I wanted to get to. In the middle of slamming it into that red oak, and it held up, the thought hit me, would I do the same with this knife? No. That's a problem, guys. Not with the knife, with me as a knife reviewer. There has to be a way, and this is about my channel, there has to be a way to standardize things. And guys, there was a time where I could have gave a shit. I got on here, whooped it up, had fun. But as you grow and as you go, if you have any kind of common sense as you grow a channel, you start to understand, hey man, I do kind of have a responsibility. People, and I'll tell you where it comes from. When people tell you almost daily, hey man, I bought this knife on your recommendation. I bought this knife because I've seen your review on it. I bought this knife because you said it was a good knife. It may not bother some people. I dwell on that shit. Not because I'm a good person. It's not it. I don't want to lose that. I also don't want to get on here and come off like some kind of expert when, son, old Scab's the furthest thing from it. Here, again, I said earlier, if I was a knife designer, if I was a knife maker, guys, there's certain things that I just will not delve into because I don't know. And I've seen examples of people making blanket statements that they are regurgitating from other channels who did not have a clue, and misinformation spreads. Not knocking anybody. Well, I kind of am. Do your own research. But my point to you is this. I want to be sure that when I tell you something, it's not just old Scab's opinion. I don't give a shit if I've done 5,000 Work Tough Gear reviews. I want to be able to tell you something factually, and if I can't tell you it factually, I need to say it is my opinion. And I think that should go for everybody. I'm not a knife nerd. I don't say that mean or taking a shot. I'm jealous of guys who study knife metals. They understand it. They know what properties do what. You say, Scab, why don't you study it? Guys, there's only so many hours in a day. And each one of my 24 are filled up, and not being dramatic, just dead ass. So I have to pick and choose. So I've chosen to show you how a knife works, how it functions in a novice's hand. how it holds up. I'll show you. I can't tell you why. I can on some, and that's been bothering me here lately, and I need to commit to understanding why this knife performs this way. Why does this knife cut better than this knife? Why? I could tell you edge geometry, heat treat, bevel, blah, blah, blah. Those are things that yes, they're true, and yes, I have some experience, but it's nothing that I've researched, right? I want at a point to be able to say, this is why this does this. And I'll give you a prime example, and I'll wrap it up. I asked Zeke Minacho, he is the designer of the Nomad Camp series. The Nomad Camp series, whether it's the Nomad Field Knife, Camp Knife, Nomad Camp 9, Nomad Camp 12, typically cut better on certain tests. Case in point, I'll do one when I get home, a paper test. And guys, listen, for those that are always like, it's not a proper test, I don't give a shit. I like the way it sounds and the way it feels. God almighty, just let somebody, anyway. The Nomad series, for whatever reason, has a keener, cleaner cutting edge. And I asked Zeke about it, and we discussed it a little bit. Now, he understood what he was talking about, but that's why he chose certain steels. That's why there's certain edge bevels. That's why geometry's that way. And I think about all this stuff, right? And I want to make sure that I am presenting you with proper information. And if I don't present you with proper information, I need to either address it, and I'll give case in point is the large breaching axe from Half Breed Blades. Kirk and I did a video on it the other day. Thing's badass. It's right here. Right here. We thought we blunted out the tip. We thought we blunted the tip a little bit. We thought it was sharp. That was my fault. I never looked at it, so I made that statement during the video. The guys from Half Breed said, hey brother, will you send us some pictures? We want to use that. If there's a problem, we need to use it. We need to make some changes if you were able to blunt it out. Cool. Sent them pictures, took them 6 or 7, sent them. 10 minutes go by, he texts me back 5 pictures. He said, hey brother, listen, other than the coating failure, and we're looking at that, there's no damage to that tip. Let me send you some pictures for your records. Well, one, I felt like a dumbass. I know better than to just make a broad sweep, but I thought it happened. But he even said, he said, Scab, listen, we don't do our points on our breaching axes like other companies. We go ahead and dole them out. We give you that round point. We found it works better. I immediately made a short and said I was wrong. Why? I think it's very important to put out correct information or say, this is my opinion. Is tip testing a scam? Well, that's too broad a statement to make. I know that for me, I hate it. I despise it. It's a matter of touch and a matter of feel, and I'm working on it, but I feel inadequate in doing it. And there are times when I sit and I watch a certain video and I go, I could have went harder. I should have went harder. I hate that feeling. So, do I think it's a scam? I think I've got to get way better at it. And again, I'm not taking a shot at another channel. That's not surely to God, nobody would use that to manipulate it. I would hope they wouldn't. If you don't, the one thing you got to have on here is integrity. You got to. Once that's lost, you're done. So I don't think anybody would purposely lie. I hope to God they wouldn't. Anyway, I just wanted to talk to y'all about that some beater knives. Put your thoughts in the comments. I'm always open to comments, suggestions. I love y'all. God bless y'all. I'm Scab. You're not. And I'm gone, son. I hope y'all have a phenomenal Friday. I know that I'm going to. Love y'all.